Welcome to the Selling to Corporate podcast, where we're going to be challenging your sales beliefs around selling to corporate organizations and help you increase your bottom line profits every single month. I am Jessica Lorimer, your sales expert and guide in this world of selling to corporate companies, skyrocketing your company sales and making the impact that you really want in the world. Now, don't forget, if you do enjoy the show today, please do head over to iTunes and leave us a review. But enjoy this episode, and I am really looking forward to sharing some epic sales wisdom with you. How are we? It is October. I'm very excited about October because we just made a very, very cool announcement, which is that Converting Corporates is coming back for a special event. We are running a financial year-end specialist Converting Corporates event, and it is happening in March 2024. That is right. You've heard me correctly. I'm very excited. We're going to be in London in person on March the 7th and 8th, 2024, and we have early bird pricing still available. If you are interested in coming along to Converting Corporates 2024, ready to focus on your financial year and help corporate organizations around the world to spend their year-end budgets with you and spend their financial new year budgets with you, or at least allocate their financial new year budgets with you, then you must be at this event. If you are attending Converting Corporates 2024, then all you will have to focus on in quarter 2 of 2024 is delivery and really delivering those epic client experiences that mean that you can just, chill out, watch Netflix all summer. Whatever you did this year, except get paid more. But seriously, we have some epic sessions coming up. I'm very excited to bring CC back with a very specialist focus. Over the 2 days, we'll have 5 workshop sessions, and those will cover the exact steps and strategies and implementation that you'll need to do across the 2 days to help you navigate and maximize the financial year end and financial new year beginning period. So it's a super exciting opportunity, not only to come along in person, learn with everybody else, implement things that are going to get you results in the following weeks, but also to hear from real life hiring managers. I have clawed my network and implored my network to bring along some epic hiring managers in job roles like HR, procurement, operations, and some secret surprises to really help you understand where exactly companies are going to be spending their money in 2024, the key trends and insights that you'll need to watch out for, and of course, how you can use that information to go ahead and support growth in your business in the financial new year. So it's super, super exciting. We have early bird pricing until November the 3rd. So if you want to come along and grab your ticket, please do. We actually sold out over 35% of tickets in our first weekend on sale. So if you do want to come along, please make sure that you go and grab the link. It's in the show notes, or you can check it out. I did something pretty fancy, actually. I used a link switching software. So you can go to swy.co/converting corporates 2024. That's swy, SWIY, interesting, .co/converting corporates 2024. And if you are not sure what the link is, then it'll be in the show notes and you can go and grab it there as well. I am super excited about it. It's a real thrill for me to be able to be back, have the headspace, have the time to deliver in person. And obviously last week we were at the C-suite in-person day and getting everybody together in a room. We actually had over 50 people at our C-suite in-person day who had flown from all around the world to come together and do an implementation day with other participants. And it was amazing. Genuinely a really, really cool day. And if you are wanting to spend some time in person, get that in-person connection, the networks, the referral networks, and also those specialist workshops from me, then make sure you get yourself signed up. swy.co/converting corporates 2024. I do sound very excited about it. I am very excited about it. But today's episode is an interesting one, and it has come about as a result of a post I put on LinkedIn. Which, side note, if we're not yet connected on LinkedIn, why are we not yet connected on LinkedIn? Because it is where I do most of my actual talking. It's interesting because I have been on LinkedIn for since 2010, probably a little bit longer. And I just love the platform. It's really easy breezy to use. Post-pandemic, it got a little bit weird with lots of like photos of people crying or whatever. It got a little bit like Facebook, if I'm honest. And that's really died down. So now I'm back. I'm back on LinkedIn, and I'm very excited about it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm posting on there just for lols. Am I cool enough to say lols? I don't think so. But I am enjoying being back on LinkedIn. And I made a post, it was a little while ago actually, about inbound leads. And I'd written an article over on LinkedIn. You can go and check out the whole thing if you want to, about inbound leads and why they're not the holy grail of B2B sales. And it got some mixed feedback initially, which I was expecting, so it was all fun. But I had a really, really interesting comment from somebody who said, I really love your training, but I have to say, I think my business is almost 100% inbound leads. As we grow, we're looking at more sales avenues. Would it be fair to say that for a lot of entrepreneurs, inbound leads get them so far, and to grow to a 7-figure business, then that's when practices need to change or expand? And I just thought, what a great question. Firstly, can we just accept that LinkedIn is the platform of great questions? I love it for that reason. It's not full of, can we say idiots on the internet? Like, LinkedIn generally is not full of idiots on the internet spouting opinions about things they know nothing about. Instead, it's the place where intelligent people come together and ask good questions. And I love that. Love a bit of discussion. I thought about this question a lot because I thought there's a big part of me that wants to be like, yeah, sure. If you just want to focus on inbound leads forever until you want to hit 7 figures, cool, I guess. Unfortunately, there was that little annoying Jess voice in my brain, which was like, no. I'm going to have to disappoint you, and I'm going to have to say that no, it's not just businesses that want to get to 7 figures who need to be focused on other sales avenues and other lead generation avenues, and who need to be exploring things outside of the inbound lead world. And I put together what I felt was a very thoughtful response, and we had a really interesting discussion, and it was awesome. But it made me realize and recognize that this was an episode that needed to be on the podcast, because I get so many people every week who genuinely are like, Jess, I just want inbound leads. I want more inbound leads, or I need more inbound leads, or I don't want to be salesy, so I just want more inbound leads that I don't have to sell to, that just buy my things. And honestly, there are lots of different conversations that we could have about this, but I wanted to keep it specific today. That's my modus operandi of choice, is making sure that it's specific so that you can just understand why inbound leads are the worst, why relying on word of mouth revenue will kill your B2B revenue stream, and why it is so dangerous to be searching for what everybody seems to think is the holy grail of business building and having just daily inbound leads coming to you that want to buy. So let's talk about it a little bit. And I'm actually going to paraphrase my initial thoughts on this from the response that I'd written over on LinkedIn, which is to say that I absolutely believe in word of mouth strategies. And I absolutely believe that every business owner, whether you are running a big business or a small business, should have and operate a good referral strategy or word of mouth strategy. It is such a huge part and such a valid part of your business. However, it is not the only method of revenue generation. And it is very, very important that we all remember that it is not the only method of revenue generation, and that it shouldn't be the one that is solely relied upon. And you might be thinking, but just why is that? Because you always tell us that warm relationships are great. We should absolutely keep in touch with our existing customers and be upselling and things. That does not change. However, markets do, and economies do, and relationships do. There is no guarantee that you will target a company and after 5 years, they will still be working on the same things that you deliver. There's no guarantee that they'll still be working on those things 3 years after you've started to build that relationship, or even 12 months, depending on where you come into their organization, where you come into their project, where you come into the work that they're doing. And there's also no guarantee that you and that stakeholder or decision maker that you currently get on really, 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 really well with will always get on really, 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 really well. Sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you have thoughts that are just very different, and you have to build other relationships either in that organization or different ones. The company might also not always have money to spend in your area of specialism. They might focus on other things, or other areas might become business critical for them, and they might have to pause some of the work that they had planned to do with you. Those are some of the reasons from a short-term perspective that word of mouth or referral or inbound lead generation shouldn't be relied upon, because not every stakeholder is going to stay in the same place with the same budget and have the same priorities. That's just life, right? We understand that, we know that. However, there are a few things that are, I think, slightly more dangerous about relying on a word of mouth or referral or inbound lead generation strategy when it comes to sales. The first thing is that we can build bad habits. If we're always relying on word of mouth business or generating business by referrals or inbound leads, we can develop really, really bad habits around questioning on calls and proposal writing and creating offers that actually meet the need for the client, because we can get so close to those clients that we forget to ask the key question, right? We forget to ask what their budget is. We forget to ask why something is so important to them. We forget to ask what the genuine transformational value is of something going ahead, or the consequences of it not going ahead. And as a result, we can end up writing very low-level proposals. We can end up creating offers that are just not suitable for where the client is. We can end up diminishing our diagnostic skill. And make no mistake, it is your diagnostic skill and your ability to create solutions that genuinely show you can meet the need and help them hit a particular goal that sells. It's not them just being in the right place at the right time or just having the need. That's not it. When we focus on or rely on word of mouth or referral or inbound lead strategies, we start developing these bad habits. And usually I'd caveat this and be like, not everyone does this, but everyone does this. There's no different way of me saying it, because human beings, we are always learning from what we're doing. We're always learning from our current behaviors. And so what will happen is we have a stakeholder that we get on really, really well with. They tell us they've got loads of work coming up. They approach us and say things like, oh, we don't need to have a call about this one. I just need you to write a proposal up. Or, oh yeah, don't bother sending us a proposal. Just drop us an email with like the key bullet points of what you'd cover and the price. And we've all done it. Even me, even I have done this, and I do not do these things regularly. I'm like, no, I'm going to sit there. I'm going to spend my 90 minutes writing a great proposal. But even I've done this, because we fall into the trap, right? Where we do it once and it works out, it's fine. So why do we have to bother writing a proposal next time? Why not just send the email with the bullet points? We didn't have the sales call with them. We didn't really ask all the questions. So why does that matter? Because it worked out that one time. So it'll probably work out again. And the problem is it doesn't, because familiarity often breeds this false sense of security. And when we're not doing the right things, when we're not asking the right questions, we're not getting the right information to create the best solution. So those bullet points that you just whacked over in a quick email, they might sound really good, but they also might not actually solve the problem, and you lose the business. The proposal that you sent over without asking all the right questions on the call, that doesn't really meet the need and doesn't have all the information, well, that's probably going to lose out to the competitors of yours who are always trying to build relationships with your stakeholders and who've actually thought, in order for us to win this business, we need to give them the best possible sales process. And so they ran the call and they made your stakeholder feel heard, and they created a really great solution, and they sold it hard in their proposal. You see, so often we get caught up on why our stakeholders might go elsewhere. We always think, oh, it's probably because of price, but it often isn't. Sometimes it's just down to our laziness, if I'm honest, and not running sales processes properly. We fall into this trap of believing that our stakeholder is only going to use us forever because we've got the relationship. And sometimes, to a certain degree, it can be true, but it definitely shouldn't be relied upon. And this is why this word of mouth business strategy really is killing small business owners. Because don't get me wrong, I've said in the beginning, I love a word of mouth strategy. I get a lot of referral work. I get a lot of word of mouth sales through, which I love and appreciate. It's not my primary sales activity. If you're inside the C-suite already, you'll know that there are 2 referral strategies in the portal, one in the lead generation section and one in the cash injection section. They're 2 slightly different things. So I love them. I use them regularly in my business, but they're not my sole source of income, and they should not be yours. Because when we are too reliant on these inbound leads, like we've said, the risk to our pipeline is huge. If we only rely on inbound leads or word of mouth leads or referral leads and something happens to damage the relationship, that's a problem. If we're already always trying to protect the relationship that we have a stakeholder with so that they can give us more work, it might mean we're not actually challenging them correctly on some of the things that we should be. That can be a real problem. Inbound leads, and I know that everyone is listening to this like, oh, but Jess, I love inbound leads. All right, inbound leads might make your life easier in that you feel like they're organizations or stakeholders who are already there and willing to buy and have money. A lot of the time they're not. Inbound leads, I say this to my corporate clients all the time, are the worst leads, because usually it is not a decision maker who has access to budget, who is trawling through the websites being like, oh, I just want to do this lunch and learn session, or oh, I really fancy a workshop on leadership, or I wonder if somebody could come in and facilitate a day for our team on X. No. It is usually a junior who has been tasked with going out and finding a couple of companies to benchmark the prices. They are usually just sense checking how much something's going to cost, seeing what's out there, what they're going to get. They very rarely have any idea of why it would be business critical to the organization to do something. They are often looking only at a surface level and very rarely have the practical understanding or elements needed to create a good proposal. Often these junior employees, HR assistants or whatever, will reach out to somebody and be like, yeah, could you run a training for us on insert topic of choice here? And that person will be like, yeah, how many people for? And they'll go, oh, I don't know, right? They didn't ask. It's not their job to ask, to think. Their job is just go out and find out how much it would be. But as we know, you can't create offers and you can't price things based on hypothetical nothingness. And yet we try, because when that inbound lead comes through, we drop everything. We're like, oh my God, a company wants to give us money. And we get super excited. And that is natural, but also unreliable. And it's very dependent on all of the other activity that you are prepared to put in order to generate those inbound leads. Content. I'm in a really repetitive word mood today. It must be the mushroom coffee. But you see what I mean, right? In order to generate those inbound leads, you have to be creating a ton of content. You probably have to have a website so that you can get decent SEO, because these junior HR assistants are just going to hit Google and be like, hey, who can deliver a masterclass on X, or who can facilitate a team day in location Y, or whatever they're typing in. So it does require you to have created a bunch of content. It does require you to have decent SEO. It does require you to continuously monitor those things, which is all a big distraction from actually the bigger sales pieces, because they come from proactive outreach. Doesn't mean that over time you don't build great relationships with your clients and that you don't get great referrals internally or externally at companies that you might be working with or want to work with. But in the primary format, how many times have you opened up your emails and a cold lead has approached you and said, hey, Jess, do you want to work on this project? We've got £150,000 to spend on it. That's never happened in my career. And I've been in sales for a lot longer than most people who listen to this podcast, and it has literally never happened to me. I'd also wager that I'm all right at sales. I'm good. I have dominated markets. I have been at the forefront of areas of growth for the last 14 years, and nobody has ever sent me an email like that. But clients that I've generated through proactive outreach, they have worked with me in an ongoing way, and they have been known to send me emails. In fact, I had one a couple of weeks ago. I was telling people at the in-person day about it, from a corporate client of mine who was like, yeah, we've got £50,000 to spend next year on sales training and consulting. and we want to allocate it to you if you would be happy for us to. Yeah, I'd be thrilled. I'm sat there like, woohoo, awesome. And I even then went back to them and I said, that sounds amazing. I would love to work with you in an ongoing way. Just out of interest though, can we hop on a call and talk about what that might look like? Because I know that when they have to go and get that signed off, it's not necessarily my stakeholder, the sole person that I have the relationship with, that knows me really well, that knows how I work. That's going to be other people talking about it too. We cannot rely on these inbound leads. We cannot rely on word of mouth. We cannot rely on referrals. What we can rely on is the fact that those things should be great bonus activities for us to aim for that demonstrate that we are gaining market share. For example, getting inbound leads is a great way to assess whether you are building your brand in the market. It's a great way to assess whether you are visible in your space. If you are getting lots of word of mouth referrals from companies that you're working with to other internal teams, it's a great way of assessing your delivery and how great you are at creating a good client experience and getting results. If you're getting lots of word of mouth referrals that are external of the organizations you're working for, it's a great way of, again, validating and assessing your quality of delivery, but also a great way for you to understand actually you have the ability to become a real specialist in an area, or that you are already becoming that specialist in an area, that want to do more with you. It's the bonus. It shouldn't be the goal, because having it as the goal relies on a lot of things and factors that you cannot control. Your content creation, your SEO, whether your website loads quickly or not, bunches of things that just cannot be controlled solely by you. Controlling and creating a predictable sales or revenue stream is all about proactive outreach. It is the only sales method that is going to allow you to create predictable numbers where you know, if I generate this many leads, I'm going to book this many calls, I'm going to be able to send out this many proposals, and I'm going to sign this many deals. And that is what my clients are able to do because they have taken proactive outreach. They have identified the way that is easiest and most efficient for them to do, despite whether they liked it or not in the beginning. And most people do grow to love cold lead generation and proactive outreach because it produces great results. And it turns out my clients really love cash and delivery over the initial awkwardness of proactive outreach. Same as me, same as you. I don't hate word of mouth or referral strategies. I think they're great. I think they are great ways to create revenue in your business, to cultivate great relationships, and to be rewarded for the hard work that you put into delivery. But I also want you all to see them as a bonus revenue stream, not a primary one, so that you can focus your time and attention and energy on proactive sales strategies that are going to give you those predictable numbers and make your life so much easier in the long run. Whether that's if you're selling all the time as a solopreneur, or whether you hire in a sales team because you want people who can be out there doing it in the way that best reflects your brand values, and all of that good stuff. And obviously, if you've enjoyed this episode and you think, actually, Jess, I need to get more of your eyes on my business, then make sure that you do go to swiy.co/converting corporates 2024. You'll be able to find out all of the details of how we can hang out in person on March 7th and 8th, 2024. It's going to be epic. I will see you in the next episode.